After they are done with Diddy, Jay Z is up next to be exposed, right?
10 years.
Mr. Diddy, aka Mr. Love. Now,
No, Sean Carter.
Jay.
The rumors swirling around Diddy and Jay Z have taken a shocking turn, as whispers of betrayal and backroom deals with federal authorities are now grabbing headlines. Could it really be that Diddy, once seen as Jay Z's close ally in the rap world, has turned against him to save himself? If the chatter is to be believed, this isn't just a case of two music titans falling out. It's a potential unraveling of an empire built on power, loyalty, and the unspoken rules of the industry. The stakes. Freedom for one, and possible incarceration for the other. Let's dive into this explosive situation and unpack what's really going on.
Well, Combs is separated from the general population, right? He's was with Sam Bankman-Fried at least, and the irony there is that's someone who was granted bail, tried to tamper with witnesses, so the judge revoked his bail. So that just goes to show how these federal judges feel about witness tampering before trial.
Diddy, currently facing a whirlwind of legal troubles, is rumored to have made a deal with the FBI that could send shockwaves through the music world. The whispers began after Diddy's arrest on a slew of charges that have already landed him behind bars awaiting trial. According to insiders, federal prosecutors allegedly approached him with a life-altering offer: cooperate with them by pointing fingers at others in exchange for leniency in his own case. And who, you might ask, was at the top of their list? None other than Jay Z, a man whose name has recently been dragged into serious allegations connected to an incident that reportedly occurred over 2 decades ago.
I still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
What makes this situation even more sensational is the claim that Diddy not only named Jay Z as an accomplice, but also painted himself as both a witness and a victim in the unfolding narrative. Imagine that, a man known for portraying himself as untouchable in the public eye, allegedly turning the tables to secure his own freedom. Sources close to the investigation suggest that Diddy's willingness to cooperate was a strategic move, one that might soon lead to his release on bail. If this is true, it would mean that the tables are about to turn, with Diddy walking free while Jay Z potentially faces the full force of the law. To understand how this all came about, let's rewind to the original lawsuit that set these events into motion. The accusations against Jay Z, which were recently amended to include him as a defendant, date back to the year 2000. According to court documents, the alleged incident took place at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards. The plaintiff, referred to only as Jane Doe, claimed to have been coerced into attending the party, where she says she was subjected to horrifying treatment at the hands of Diddy and Jay Z. The details, though disturbing, have been widely reported: a chauffeured ride to a lavish mansion, the signing of a document she believed to be a confidentiality agreement, and the events that allegedly unfolded behind closed doors.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
While Diddy was initially the sole defendant in the lawsuit, Jay Z's name was added later, reportedly after Jane Doe's legal team refiled the case with new information. And this is where things take a turn that no one could have seen coming. Insiders claim that as the walls began to close in on Diddy, he saw an opportunity to shift the narrative and the blame away from himself. Rumors began circulating that Diddy's legal team reached out to federal prosecutors, offering information that could implicate others in exchange for a lighter sentence. According to these same sources, Diddy didn't just name Jay Z as a co-conspirator. He allegedly positioned himself as someone who had been manipulated or coerced into the situation, effectively portraying himself as both an informant and a victim.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
The alleged deal has sparked outrage and speculation in equal measure. For years, Diddy and Jay Z have been seen as two sides of the same coin, rap moguls who transcended their humble beginnings to become global icons. Their friendship, though occasionally fraught with competition, has always been a cornerstone of their public personas. But if these rumors are true, Diddy's actions represent the ultimate betrayal, not just of a friend, but of the unspoken code that governs the music industry. It's one thing to face allegations in a court of law. It's another entirely to cooperate with federal authorities in a way that could bring someone else down. What's even more shocking is the timing of these developments. Diddy has been fighting an uphill battle to secure his release from custody, with multiple bail requests denied over the past few months. Prosecutors have argued that he poses a flight risk, citing his vast resources and international connections. But if the rumors are true, his alleged cooperation with the FBI might have been the key to unlocking his cell door. Insiders suggest that his legal team has been working behind the scenes to negotiate a deal that would see him released in exchange for the information he's provided. And while none of this has been confirmed, the mere possibility has sent ripples through the industry.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Jay Z, for his part, has vehemently denied the allegations against him, calling them a blackmail attempt in public statements. He has also taken legal action of his own, filing a motion to either dismiss the case or force the plaintiff to reveal her identity. In a letter to the judge overseeing the case, Jay Z's attorneys argued that he deserves the right to know who is accusing him of such serious crimes, adding that the allegations have caused immense harm to his reputation and personal life. I mourn yet another loss of innocence, Jay Z said in a statement, referring to the impact the case has had on his family. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable.
This morning, rap mogul Jay Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a video.
Despite his public denials, the weight of the accusations against Jay Z has fueled speculation about his next move. Some believe he may soon face criminal charges, especially if Diddy's alleged cooperation with the FBI proves to be as damning as the rumors suggest. Others argue that Jay Z's formidable legal team will find a way to discredit the allegations and clear his name. Either way, the stakes couldn't be higher for the man who famously declared himself not a businessman, but a businessman, but a businessman. If convicted, Jay Z could lose not only his freedom, but also his status as one of the most influential figures in modern music. What makes this story even more compelling is the sheer audacity of Diddy's alleged betrayal. For years, the two men have been seen as gatekeepers of the rap industry, a duo whose combined influence shaped the sound, style, and culture of an entire generation. To see that partnership unravel in such a public and destructive way is nothing short of shocking, and yet some insiders claim it was only a matter of time. According to one source, Diddy has always been a master manipulator, someone who knows how to play the game to his advantage.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
The rumors of Diddy's cooperation with the FBI have also raised questions about the broader implications for the music industry. If he's willing to name names and implicate others to save himself, what does that mean for the culture of loyalty and secrecy that has long defined the hip-hop world? Some see it as a necessary reckoning, a chance to expose the darker side of an industry that has often operated in the shadows. Others view it as a dangerous precedent, one that could lead to a wave of accusations and counter-accusations that threaten to bring down some of the biggest names in the business. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the relationship between Diddy and Jay Z will never be the same. What began as a partnership built on mutual respect and shared ambition has now devolved into a high-stakes game of survival, with both men fighting to protect their legacies. For Diddy, the alleged deal with the FBI represents a lifeline, a chance to escape the legal quagmire that has ensnared him. For Jay Z, it's a potential catastrophe, one that could bring his meticulously crafted image crashing down.
In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean.
And yet, the question remains: how much of this is true and how much is simply speculation fueled by the media frenzy surrounding the case? While the details of Diddy's alleged cooperation have yet to be confirmed, the very fact that such rumors exist speaks to the high stakes and shifting alliances at play. As more information comes to light, the world will be watching to see who emerges victorious and who is left to pick up the pieces. This brings us to the heart of the matter. How did two of the most powerful figures in hip-hop go from being collaborators to potential adversaries in a legal battle that could define their legacies? To answer that, we need to take a closer look at the history of their relationship, the shared triumphs and tensions that brought them to this point. Because while the current drama may seem unprecedented, it's worth asking whether the seeds of betrayal were sown long before the allegations came to light. And that's where our story continues.
I'm not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee.
The story of Diddy and Jay Z isn't just about two music titans embroiled in a legal scandal. It's the collapse of a bond that was once thought to be unshakable. To understand how things reached this boiling point, you have to rewind to the early days of their careers, when both men were clawing their way to the top of the industry. Long before they were global icons, they were just two ambitious guys with a shared love for music hustling their way out of their respective neighborhoods. It's a history filled with triumphs, rivalries, betrayals, and now potentially devastating consequences. Diddy and Jay Z's friendship wasn't just built on their shared success. It was built on survival. Both men came from hardscrabble beginnings. Diddy, born Sean Combs, grew up in the Mount Vernon area of New York after his father was taken from him at a young age. His early years were marked by ambition, throwing parties at Howard University and eventually landing a spot at Uptown Records, where he was instrumental in shaping the careers of artists like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was born Sean Carter in the Marcy Projects of Brooklyn, a place he's immortalized in his lyrics. His rise was slower, but no less impressive, building his reputation as one of the most talented lyricists in the game before launching his own label, Rockefeller Records, alongside Damon Dash and Kareem Burke.
So that, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you, want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours, gathering, evidence for your side or, strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
By the mid-1990s, both men were dominating the industry in their own ways. While Diddy was building Bad Boy Records into a powerhouse with artists like Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and 112, Jay-Z was laying the foundation for a legacy that would eventually make him one of the most influential figures in music. Their paths crossed often, and while there was always a sense of competition between them, there was also a mutual respect. They weren't just peers. They were pioneers, reshaping the sound and culture of hip-hop for a new generation. But even in those early days, cracks in their relationship were visible to those paying attention. Diddy's larger-than-life personality and relentless pursuit of the spotlight often clashed with Jay-Z's more reserved, calculated approach. Diddy loved to be seen, whether it was partying with celebrities or making cameos in his artists' music videos. Jay-Z, by contrast, let his music and business acumen speak for him. This difference in style created an undercurrent of tension between the two, with some insiders suggesting that Diddy saw Jay-Z as a threat to his dominance.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming drugs, consuming alcohol, and things of that nature.
The competition between them wasn't just about music. It was about influence and power. Both men wanted to be seen as the gatekeepers of hip-hop, the ones who set the trends and dictated the culture. And for a while, they managed to coexist in this delicate balance. They collaborated on tracks, attended each other's events, and even praised one another in interviews. But behind the scenes, their rivalry was simmering. One industry insider described their relationship as a Cold War, with each man quietly trying to outdo the other while maintaining the facade of friendship. Their competitive nature came to a head in the late 1990s and early 2000s, a period that saw both men reach new heights of success. Diddy was riding high on the success of Bad Boy Records, which had become a cultural phenomenon thanks to artists like Notorious B.I.G. and Mace. Jay-Z, meanwhile, was establishing himself as a force to be reckoned with, releasing a string of critically acclaimed albums and expanding his Rockefeller empire. The turning point came in 2001 when Jay-Z dropped his iconic album, The Blueprint. The record not only solidified Jay-Z's status as one of the greatest rappers of all time, but also marked a shift in the balance of power. For the first time, it seemed like Jay-Z was outpacing Diddy in terms of influence and cultural relevance. This shift didn't sit well with Diddy, who had always prided himself on being the face of hip-hop. While Jay-Z was building his empire quietly and methodically, Diddy's flashy persona and penchant for drama were starting to wear thin. Insiders say that Diddy began to feel threatened by Jay-Z's rise, seeing it as a challenge to his own legacy. The tension between them only grew in the years that followed, fueled by a series of incidents that left their friendship hanging by a thread. One of the most notable moments came in 2005, when Diddy and Jay-Z co-hosted a charity event to raise money for Hurricane Katrina relief. While the event was a success, those close to the situation say it was marked by behind-the-scenes power struggles, with both men vying for control and spotlight. By the late 2000s, their relationship had become more of a business arrangement than a genuine friendship. They still collaborated occasionally and spoke highly of each other in public, but the camaraderie that once defined their partnership was gone. Diddy, ever the showman, continued to play up their connection, even referring to Jay-Z as his brother in interviews. But insiders say Jay-Z had grown wary of Diddy, seeing him as more of a rival than an ally.
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking.
As their careers evolved, so did the nature of their rivalry. While Diddy leaned into his role as a media mogul and lifestyle brand, launching ventures like Cyrock and Revolt TV, Jay-Z focused on building his empire through strategic investment and partnerships. From his acquisition of Tidal to his involvement in sports management through Roc Nation Sports, Jay-Z was positioning himself as a businessman first and a rapper second. This shift only widened the gap between them, with some suggesting that Jay-Z's success was a direct challenge to Diddy's status as hip-hop's ultimate mogul. Despite their differences, the two men managed to maintain a fragile truce, at least on the surface. They attended each other's events, posed for photos, and even shared the stage on occasion. But those close to them say the tension was always there, bubbling beneath the surface. They were like two boxers in a ring, one insider said. They'd touch gloves before the fight, but you always knew they were waiting for the first punch. That first punch came in the form of the recent allegations that have rocked their worlds. While the specifics of Diddy's alleged deal with the FBI remain unclear, the implications are undeniable. If the rumors are true, Diddy has effectively turned on Jay-Z, providing information that could lead to his former friend's downfall. For Jay-Z, who has always prided himself on loyalty and integrity, this betrayal cuts deep. He trusted Diddy, one source close to Jay-Z said. They weren't best friends, but there was a level of respect there. To see that trust broken, it's devastating.
I agree, and the risk of flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering.
The fallout from this alleged betrayal has sent shockwaves through the industry, leaving many to question the true nature of Diddy and Jay-Z's relationship. Were they ever really friends, or was their partnership always rooted in mutual benefit? And if Diddy was willing to throw Jay-Z under the bus to save himself, who else might he be willing to implicate? These questions hang heavy over both men as they navigate the fallout from this scandal. For Diddy, the alleged deal with the FBI represents a chance at redemption, or at least survival. Facing mounting legal troubles and the possibility of a lengthy sentence, he's reportedly doing whatever it takes to secure his freedom. But in doing so, he's risking not only his reputation, but also the relationships that have defined his career.
You know, it's still pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share. But
for Jay-Z, the stakes are equally high. While he's vehemently denied the allegations against him, the mere association with such a scandal could have lasting consequences. His carefully curated image, built on decades of hard work and strategic decisions, is now under threat. And with Diddy allegedly cooperating with authorities, Jay-Z may find himself fighting a battle he never saw coming. As the dust settles on this latest chapter in their storied relationship, one thing is clear. The friendship that once defined Diddy and Jay-Z's partnership is now a thing of the past. What remains is a toxic mix of rivalry, betrayal, and self-interest, with both men vying to protect their legacies at all costs. And while the outcome of this saga is still uncertain, one thing is for sure, hip-hop will never be the same. So, what do you think? Could Diddy's alleged deal with the FBI be the beginning of the end for Jay-Z's reign in the music industry? And how will this betrayal impact the future of their once unbreakable bond? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on this explosive situation. Until next time, stay tuned and stay curious.